In today's video, we're going to be taking another look here at the current conditions and another look at the upcoming pattern where there is more hope towards the very end of these model runs, okay? As we're approaching December 10th and beyond, things look to potentially get active, potentially get very cold, and I'm going to be showing you guys that today, so I am excited to tell you guys all about that. As we look at these current conditions, and we will get past this pretty quickly, we can see there is some storminess, and this is pretty scattered about throughout the Rockies, the Cascades up there. Mostly snowfall in here, but for some lower elevation regions, some rainfall as well. We'll zoom in and take a look in a minute. We can see that we do have a very major low pressure system here across the middle of the nation, and this is stretching precipitation throughout an area that looks about like this. And we're seeing this stretch from Florida all the way up the East Coast and then back through the Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes into the Central Plains. Now, we'll zoom into that one as well in a minute, but let's start out here in the Northwest, where in Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and Montana, we have mixed precipitation, snowfall, and rainfall, depending on where you're at, again, depending mostly on elevation. And then as we work our way a little bit further eastward through Montana, Wyoming, Utah, Nevada, Idaho here, we can see that there is some snowfall and rainfall in these pockets as well. Now, as we move back down through the plains here, we can see some rainfall and some snowfall. New Mexico, up through Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, and New Mexico, I think I already said that. And then Colorado, where we're seeing most of that precipitation, but this is pretty isolated, pretty scattered in there. Now, let's take a look at this big time low we have here in the Ohio Valley. We can see that it is rotating. The heart of the storm is here, and it's rotating a bit like this. So we see this storm in here bringing moderate to heavy precipitation throughout Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, Missouri, Michigan, Wisconsin, and even Iowa there. And we're seeing these yellows and oranges indicating the heavier precipitation. And then we're seeing some of the greens obviously indicating the lighter precipitation. As we move just a little bit further eastward here, we can see a lot of this expanding up the coast here. So this pocket in here is also pretty light to moderate depending on what color you're under. So definitely some impacts regardless of where you're at with this storm. Even down south through Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina as well here. We have plenty of this light to moderate precipitation happening, even heavy in some spots, especially here across the central regions of these states. We're seeing some pockets of heavier precipitation in there. So certainly a pretty impactful storm regardless of where you're at right now. And then as we work our way down through South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida here, it becomes a lot more isolated and scattered and looks a lot more like thunderstorms here as opposed to just heavier showers. So certainly thunderstorm chance here for or better yet, I don't know why I wanted to say Wisconsin there, Georgia and Florida especially here along this cold front and underneath the warm front. Okay, so there's a lot going on right now, especially in the eastern United States. Things are going to get more mild, as we'll see in the upcoming pattern, but longer range, it does appear like there could be some colder air on the way. So what we're going to do is move on, and we're going to take a look at that modeled guidance. Now here we are taking a look at the upcoming storminess. As we reach later this evening, we will see that this low will be over New York and Pennsylvania, bringing rainfall still from Florida all the way up the East Coast here, and even as far westward as the Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes still. So we see an area kind of like this seeing some activity from this, potentially in the very northern end, snowfall mixing in for areas like Michigan, and pretty much that's it. Maybe near Indiana and Ohio, the very, very northern parts as well. That could be a possibility. Now, out west, we do have some snow showers still happening up here in the northern Rockies and the Cascades, and that's later on tonight. As we reach tomorrow afternoon, the storm in the eastern United States will be all the way moved out, so we'll be left high and dry here for Monday, November 28th here. Now, snowfall still prevailing here across the northwest, so we're still seeing that occurring. By Tuesday here, we do have another storm system developing across the central United States, and that's going to mean snowfall here on this northern end, and then rainfall for further south areas here. So definitely, depending on where you're at, is going to dictate what kind of conditions you're seeing with this storm. We do see that this cold front, it does extend a cold front underneath this low, and this will be bringing rainfall and snowfall to the eastern United States. Depending where you're at, that's going to be between Wednesday and Thursday on December 1st there. December 30th to December 1st. November 30th to December 1st, sorry. I said December 30th. We see that there is snowfall here throughout a lot of regions of Canada, and then down through Pennsylvania, New York, Ohio, and West Virginia potentially as well, with some of that snowfall. As we approach early Thursday on December 1st, we see this cold front still rolling through with some precipitation, snowfall potentially for New England, and then rainfall for the more coastal and southern regions. Still snowfall showers occurring out west, so certainly going to be something of a common occurrence, I would say. Later on the 2nd, we do see these snow showers still happening out here, but pretty much not a whole lot of activity. Looks like mostly just snow showers. As we approach the 4th here, we get another storm system across the southeast here, stretching like this, probably moving in this direction here. So quite a bit of precipitation with that. And then that kind of just continues on. Now we do get an interesting snowstorm potential in here as some colder air is able to work its way in to the eastern United States, as we still have this precipitation overhead kind of, and then we see rainfall underneath. This will potentially mean some snowfall for some areas that have not yet seen snowfall. We do get a couple of interesting opportunities for nor'easters, but they can't really catch on, okay, because when we have a warmer pattern, the jet stream is doing this, and it's pretty weak. So if this storm can't really meet up with that, it doesn't turn into anything. What you're really looking for is a jet stream that's doing this, and then what these storms will do is they'll latch on, and then they'll move up with the jet stream. That's when you get a big nor'easter on the East Coast, but we're not seeing that here because there's not really anything to get it to really stick. Cold air does move in right behind it, though, so we do get this pattern, like I said, and this is right around the 11th, 12th time frame, and that's right around when we would be seeing this cold air move in, potentially, according to this GFS. And also, potentially, the return of a positive PNA pattern out west. So this would certainly encourage much deeper cold air into the eastern United States like we see here. Now, as we reach the end of the model run, this is still occurring with some passing storms potentially going to be moving down, so we'll have to watch and see what happens with that. Now, total precipitation through the next 15 days or so. Anywhere in the whites, we're seeing practically no precipitation. Grays, 1/10 of an inch or less. Your greens, 1/10 of an inch to 1/2 an inch. Blues, 1/2 an inch to an inch. Yellows, 1 inch to 2 inches. Reds, 2 to 5 inches. And then your browns, 5 to 10 inches of precipitation there. So we see some of that stretching across Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, southern Illinois, into Kentucky there. And also some up there for the Cascades out west in the northwest. Obviously, a lot of red here in the eastern United States, indicating a lot of precipitation overall is expected. Now, your total snowfall through the next 15 days is pretty exclusive here for the northern United States. Anywhere in the gray, seeing a dusting, if anything. Blues, 2 to 6 inches of snowfall. Purples, 6 to 10. Pinks, 10 to 20 there. Pastel blues, 20 to 30. And then your pastel pinks are going to be 30 to 48 inches plus. So we see a lot of that out west like we always do. And then the pastel blues popping up for eastern Canada, mostly, I would say, is a good example of that. Now, total better yet, temperature pattern through the next 15 days. Don't even know what I'm on about here. We see, again, warmer temperatures overall for the eastern United States. Now, we do start December off on December 1st here with some colder air in place, as you can see, that is blasted down. This is a full-blown Arctic blast here, more mild air out west. But what we're going to see is this does not last very, very long at all. We do see warm air return with this southeast ridge, and this sticks around, I would say, from the 3rd of December for the eastern United States all the way at least through the 7th. So for multiple days, we're going to see some more mild weather. But then there's this cold air mass. It's not super far below normal temperatures, but it'll be a big difference from what we saw from the 3rd to the 7th like we talked about. But on the 8th, we do see the cold air return here. And this model in particular has a warm-up occur, but then a much more major Arctic blast is able to work its way through right around December 11th here. And this lasts at least until the end of the model run here with another one on the way. So certainly looks like this model might be trending us back at a positive PNA pattern with the colder air in the east, and really no sign of that ending anytime soon. Now take that with a grain of salt. That is at the end of the model run, but we will track this every single day. So be sure to subscribe so you can tune in for videos every single day. Be sure to hit that bell icon as well for daily notifications. Like the video if you did enjoy it. Leave a comment down below with your thoughts, and I will see you guys in the next video.